What's
Welcome,
up, mi gente? Welcome to
yes,
another edition of Ricans. And
welcome,
I am
welcome.
lost in technology mode.
That's not the name I had for you. I had
Uh-oh.
you.
Well.
I had you as Batface.
You had me as what?
Batface.
Bat, oh, bad face. Okay. No problem.
Because
My problem, my little bat mite.
this was you. Yeah, that was you.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah, when technology.
Vengeance will be mine. Trust
Hey,
me.
as long as it's not Section 31 coming after me, I'm good. Look out, world.
Oh, don't worry. I got something planned for you.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah, you
I
got
got
to
a doctor for those toes.
see, we got a lightsaber. It just kills everything.
Yeah, we got a phaser to clean it up too.
And you got
Let's
the.
escalate.
All right, let's go on. Let's move on to today's topics. Uh,
Shoot.
we're gonna start off with Last of Us.
Oh, please. I'm still rocked over episode 2.
Yes.
I've yet to watch episode 3. I'm going to watch
Mhm.
it after this. But yo, and look, I got my daughter over here who is an expert on all things when it comes to The Last of Us. So she could tell you more than I do. We've been watching it, and I'm like, yo, I've been broke on the second one, man. After what happened to
Yes.
Pascal.
And I knew what was happening, what was going to happen, and I'm just sitting there watching the whole time, like, oh god,
Because she's
Yeah.
played the game.
Yeah.
And
No.
as
And
what
the
was it?
game follows
What
it
happened
pretty
to you?
well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it
yeah,
follows it very well.
yeah. They definitely have made a phenomenal adaptation so far.
Yeah.
And what happened to it when you played it?
What?
What happened to you when you played it?
Well, when I played both games, just destroyed me like mentally, emotionally, and just I think there was a good like 2 weeks after I finished both games where I just couldn't not think about it, and I would just break down into tears.
It's that emotional,
Mhm.
bro. So the
Really.
show has been following it so synchronarily together like that the same effect as playing the game is happening while you're
Mhm.
watching the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Spoiler.
it is it's that hard.
Spoiler alert! If you didn't see the second episode, that's on you.
That's on you.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's it.
Your
Put your
fault.
fingers in your ears. You
We
Close
know,
your
la la
eyes.
la la la.
we are now coming up on episode 4. Episode 3 was
Yep.
pretty good. However, I was
Mm-hmm.
disappointed because my man was Pedro Pascal, and when he
Mm.
died, I was upset at the world. I was
You.
no,
I was like, no, no,
Yeah, playing the game it was hard. Oh,
no. I was already like, what the
and
frack is going on here?
I had no idea that Bella, the girl that plays Elle,
mhm.
she's autistic
Yeah. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
spectrum.
Hmm.
I had no idea. I think
Yeah.
that makes her cooler now.
Yeah, she's
And
been very open about it for a while.
yes, yes, and I mean, you could almost see it in her face, though. Honestly, I mean, like something about her face looks a little off. But yeah, no, and I admire her for coming out with that.
Hmm.
I mean, for all the autistic children who want to be something, if they're up there at that same level, they can do it, And
Yeah,
Hmm.
they can.
I admire that,
Look,
and
I have
you're a
autism as
comic book.
well.
Hmm?
I have autism as well. So I really admired her when she came out. I know she's younger than me, but yeah. So
Hmm.
really,
And
I
the fact that,
didn't know.
yeah, you never know that. Yeah.
No, and I mean I've known her for years, but I never knew that.
Things you wouldn't, but it's not on the surface.
yeah,
You don't
Uh,
see it. Some
my
you can
sister has
see it
it
on
too.
the surface, and then okay, but some vary in degrees.
Hmm.
uh,
Sometimes you just wouldn't tell just by looking at them until you pretty much single out something that stands out as autistic
Yeah,
in them,
that's why it's a
and that's the part
spectrum.
that stands out.
yeah,
I mean, in any area when it comes down to it, it pretty much I'll define it like this, and a compliment to you. There is nothing in the word handicap that says
Mm-mm.
you can't do anything.
Hmm.
You're
yeah,
definite proof of that as a comic book writer, and you've made so many stories,
thank you,
fascinating stories.
thank
And
you.
so when I say that honestly, because I've known you for a long time, and your family, and I know that when it comes down to it, it's not impossible. A chair, crutches, whatever it is, does not stop. I mean, who's the famed physicist? God rest his soul, who passed away.
Oh,
They
Carl
came-
Sagan.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
Carl Sagan was not.
no, not that physicist. We're talking about
Oh,
the one that was featured in. It's like he was featured in Smallville. He was
uh,
also featured,
I
I
know who you're
think,
talking
one
about. I
time in
just
the
can't remember his
Flash.
name for some
Stephen
reason.
Hawking.
Huh?
Stephen Hawking.
Yes.
Hawking it is. That's the look at him. Look at him. A
Yeah,
brilliant mind and nothing and he found a way to communicate even when he was afflicted and he still shared that beautiful mind
Hmm.
of his
Hmm.
yep.
and all the workings and the things he has behind it.
But
I'm,
God
I'm
forgive,
moved to tears by that.
God forgive me. He's still waiting on the first floor of heaven
Hmm.
because that wheelchair weighs way too much to carry up them steps.
I guess you're gonna be sitting there with him, brother. So you
Nope, I
better
can,
park a spot
I can walk a little.
a
Plus,
little.
I'm not going to heaven. I'm going to hell. There's a ramp straight down, puppy.
I know. I got a spot for you,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
With me.
Yeah,
We got a theme park and stuff
yeah,
to enjoy.
exactly,
You and I.
exactly, exactly. We're gonna say
Oh,
welcome to Nerdo Rican hell.
Puerto Rican hell, bro. That's it, bro. With a little maraca, like Papa Shango with the hat and all. But yo, that show has me like I mean I've never played the game, and I'll be honest, and I'm a
Meaning,
gamer.
meaning I've never played.
And but from the
Hmm.
first time I saw that show all the way through, I've been hooked. I've just been hooked. It's one of those things that just brings you in. I would love to see, me personally, since we're talking about like
Hmm.
video games, like we talked about before, video games translating into
Hmm.
television. I would love to see a Half Life show. Half Life.
Mm, yes,
Yeah,
Orange
that would
Box.
be all. That,
Oh, Orange Cloud. What? Look, my
I
hand.
had that. I had that when they had the original Portal.
Here's the
The
standing. When she said
somebody,
Orange Part. What?
a viewer wrote how close is the series to the game?
So there's differences, obviously. So
Scale of
I
19,
accidentally said something
scale of 1 to
during
10.
watching the second episode, and I had to like pause myself because I realized Dad wasn't playing the game, so he didn't know. So there's slight differences, things that they have changed. Yes, spoiler alert. So like for instance, in the last episode when we saw everything that happened with Joel's character, he wasn't with, I forget her name right now. He wasn't with her. He was with his brother. So like, there's differences. I can't say if they're for the best or not, obviously, but I see where they changed it because of what happens in the story. In the
Okay.
first season two, that there were slight differences, but for the most part, everything was there. And I remember watching it the same way I was when I felt like watching not sorry, not Bioshock. What was the one that came out recently, the other video game show that we were talking about, that they did a perfect adaptation, and I was thoroughly shocked that they even went because usually you hear that your favorite media is going to be adapted, you're like it's going to suck. Like I'm an Assassin's Creed fan. That movie was, am I allowed to curse? Shit, that movie
No.
was shit.
No,
Sorry,
Now I'm raising my eyebrow.
it was bad. But so yeah, as a huge video game fan girl, I'm very happy with what they're doing.
yeah, well, one of my favorite games was Halo, and it started out good.
Mm.
Mm,
It
It
started out
that
started
good.
was
off good, but
They actually
somewhere,
canceled.
originally District 9 was supposed to be Halo, and they got pushed aside, and that's why he made District 9.
yeah. But when they did Halo itself,
Hmm.
at
Yeah,
first you're like, hmm,
I didn't see the Halo
and
movie.
then went to why'd you do
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Why'd you make this?
It
It's
became
like
too
you would
political.
want to. It's like me and you. We should be like Kevin Smith, and we should be Jay and Silent Bob. We should be Mo and Lou.
Yeah,
Find that director, and then you run his legs over, and I'll kick
yes,
him in the head
yeah, that'll work.
just for making that.
Hmm.
Yes,
I
Just
feel
for
that.
making that.
I feel that.
yeah, that'll work.
Oh,
And the video game I couldn't pick up was Fallout.
Fallout.
That was
Okay,
another great adaptation
that was another. Yeah, Fallout was another. We talked about
because
that too.
it kept the
Great
essence
adaptation.
of Fallout, and just it was
Exactly.
amazing.
hmm And that's the thing. If they do it right, it's great to watch because, especially if you're a fan of the game, and then you see it on the screen, you're like, wow. I mean, hell yeah, I remember this, I remember
Yeah.
that, and oh, and like she said, when she first saw this, she told me, "Oh, this thing broke me." I was like, "What?
Hmm.
Oh, wow!" And like for me, if they ever brought like Half Life to life, like literally, that's like a great sci-fi interdimensional theme. It brings like reminiscence of sliders with interdimensional
Mm.
portals
Oh,
coming in and out, and you
so
don't know what's
good.
coming in. And it's one of those also kind of like the Last of Us that it's not jumpy, but when you least expect it, boom, you hit. It's one of those games where when I was playing and I turn the corner, oh, your meal, and I run.
Yeah,
And run like crazy because it scares you like that. It
yeah.
surprises you, and it's one of those things that they brought that one to life.
So waiting on a Resident Evil one.
Like I said, my hands are spinning again. Coño. I have to stay down.
Wait, show that again. Let me see the hairs.
See,
Oh wow, they're still
yeah,
dark.
that's standing.
They're still dark colored.
Yeah, they're still black color. Where you getting
Yeah,
that, bro?
yeah.
Baldy. Where you getting that? You
All right, Captain
skinhead.
Gray. All right, Captain Gray.
You really skinhead. You. How dare you?
You Captain Gray.
So going on with that thought, AI. Just to touch on the ideas of AI for a second,
No, get yourself on
because
camera.
it's huh?
Get yourself on camera.
Yeah. So
There you
talking about like the software AI, because quite frankly, it's kind of crazy of all these different things that are coming up on the screen. Like for instance, I said to you, and we talked about this earlier, like how AI is doing a recreation or somewhat of a fan creation of this film. Supposedly we thought was going to come out, but it's actually not, and that's Terminator: End of Wars.
Yeah.
And it was like I saw it, I'm like, wait, what is that all about? And but in instance, it was just that. It was just an AI fan created, and boom, it disappeared as quickly as it came.
Mm-hmm. But somebody wrote a lot of games that made it to the big screen didn't really hit the mark. What do you think is
No,
the reason for that? Bad writing.
yeah, I would
And
say
and
bad
and
writing.
I would say bad writing, and not the writers they got aren't fans of the where they're getting the adaptation from. Because I mean, you could say that about books too. When a book is made and it gets made into a movie, sometimes it hits, sometimes it don't. Look at Aragon, for example.
True.
Aragon was, the books were amazing. Three books, and in the three books,
Hmm.
it showed how the dragon went from not talking to talking to him telepathically. In the third one, the ending. But no, they wanted to put everything in one book. I mean, in one movie, and that messed it up. You know?
True. I mean, Aragon was well, it was an amazing book, but they
Yes.
didn't really do it justice in that respect.
And I admired the kid that wrote it. He was 16.
Yeah, he was 16. It was a good adaptation,
Yes.
but it lacked the background funding. Because for some reason it always boils down when something fails, money has to be involved somewhere. Either
Yes.
an investor dropped out, or they didn't get enough of, how can I say, the first adaptation of the first book. They didn't get enough money coming back, and they said, you know what, we won't continue it. That's why I hated that. I mean, that's why on a side note, I had joined and signed on with this company. Actually, I'm a kind of an investor in that company, Legion M. Legion M is the first fan-owned entertainment company. We decide what's successful, what's not going to be successful when it comes to movies, TV, books, or adaptations of. We collectively decide what's going to work, what's not going to work, and then boom, from right there, it happens. Otherwise, it doesn't. But we carefully pick what we want to see because we're the ones who are going to be investing that money, not only in it making, but also getting others to join in as well as ourselves to watch and enjoy it.
Here's
So
another.
that's what I like about being in that company because that gives
Here's
you all these other studios take it away from you.
Yeah. Here's another question, Mo.
Shoot.
should games just come out as an anime instead of the big screen? Well, the way anime is going now, I mean, they almost look cinematic.
I'm gonna go 50-50 on that because it
Yeah.
depends on the anime in question.
Well,
Mhm.
look at
Like,
Resident Evil.
no, look at Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
What
please
they did
stop,
the first
stop,
time with that.
stop. I hate that cartoon.
But what they did, I mean, you think if you didn't like it as an anime, don't even bother looking at the live action. They
No,
did not
The
improve it.
fan live actions are better.
Oh, that's the thing, and that's the point that,
Mhm.
that brings up. Why is it these studios are not looking at what's right in front of them?
for
It's like
example,
you should, if you, for example,
the Star Trek.
uh, no, not even the Star Trek fan films, even the Star Wars fan films. I'm gonna go. This is because this is gonna hurt. So, just be careful here. The Star Wars ones, they're good.
The greatest thing in the world.
It's okay.
Oh, thank
It's
you,
okay.
thank you. I needed that. Right here. So they're good, but they're done by fans. Why?
Mhm.
Because fans understand the material. Fans know the lore probably
Yeah.
inside, probably even better than George Lucas, and he wrote the damn thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The lore in itself, I mean, she knows the lore. I got a nephew who knows so much of even the Jedi, and I didn't even know the Jedi had 3 levels of Jedi. I was like, with 3 levels? It's not just the light or the Sith. There are other levels of Jedi. I'm like, really?
they
But that's what I mean. There's so much material out there that anybody, and now with the technology capable with just a cell phone, just to make a film, you could create that. I mean, yeah, from the Star Trek fan films like Axanar, like Star Trek Phase Two,
yeah.
another one called Star Trek Continues, which talked about the original series. And there's even one that she's dying to say. Go ahead, say
Sorry,
it.
because it just came to my mind right now. Like the only like in fandom film that I can remember being actually good was the Assassin's Creed 2 one, which deals with Ezio. There's actually on the game. There's a live action movie that's like a short film you can watch, and it was done by
Fans.
no, it was not by fans. It was done
Damn.
by the actual company.
Oh, the
And it's
actual
like the
company.
only time I can think of where an actual like fan, like no, sorry, a film that was made by the company actually was really good. But other than
Okay.
that,
They have
I'm
a
also 50-50 on that.
they have a Star Wars fan thing where 2 parts came out already. Where it's Mace Windu. The stormtroopers are hunting for Mace Windu,
Oh,
and
I saw
and,
that one.
Everything that.
yeah, and they have one, where Darth Vader is actually being terrorized, but he by Palpatine. But in his mind, he's going through what would happen if he kills him. Check it out.
Yeah.
Somebody wrote the following, and I love this. Fans and Mo know how good Star Wars is better. Now we have him on air saying so. Yep. I like that.
Can we try this?
I
Stop throwing me
swear
kids.
I'm gonna beam somebody over to a desolate moon, okay? Where they're gonna be Ragnars waiting for you, or Garikanox.
Okay. I thought you. Never mind. I was gonna say I thought you was
You
gonna
go.
beam me to the Blue Oyster.
Oh, thank you. That's a good thought. That's a good place to send you. Blue Oyster. Why not? Blue Oyster Club for you, brother. Front row seats all the way. Nothing for the best for my Lou. So
wait. Before we continue, Mr.
before we
Producer Guy,
continue,
are we taking a commercial, Charles?
why not? Let's go to a commercial break and we'll come back with more Notarigas. We'll
Yeah.
follow up
Let's do that.
with this and fan films, all right?
Yes. And commercial break.
And good. See, you caught me. All right, because I was ready to send your ass someplace. Let me tell you that much. Welcome back again to another edition of Nerd.
Come, let's play. Radio. Come, let's play. Fun is what we crave.
Let's go. You're listening to New York City's LDM Radio. Another long stretch of continuous music.
Back into time. Flashback.
New York City's LDM Radio.
The best radio station in the world. Is
This has 83%. We're good.
Welcome
Hey,
back.
welcome back to another edition of Know the Rican. I'm excited, Mo, along with my assistant, Sam, here, saying what's up. And the topic, of course, coming back to was the studios and AI and the fact that they're not looking at the rich talent that's out there. You know, because let's be honest, as we were saying before, you know, a lot of the stuff is so big in the world of fan films that I'm surprised, with the only exception, and I say this honestly, which the fact that CBS jumped in and stopped one of them and sued them because the storylines unfortunately combined. Not in the exact same way, but they had the same theme, which was the Klingon War against the Federation. So when Axonar was getting popular, it got popped. I was upset because it was great. I mean, it had the funding, it had all the fans that were in the professionalism of the background, grip, camera, all of it, and they were there to make the difference, you know. And I'm surprised that it did not get the notoriety it deserved. So in that respect, you know, I'm like, what are you going to do? I mean, you spend more money on people who cannot produce a lick of anything, and yet you keep on disappointing us fans with material that, you know, it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. Yet, if you were to bring on what's like posted online, you nailed it. You'll
Yeah,
nail it because these people, like ourselves, are fans. We know the material, we know what we want, and we know what we're going to give the audience. And in the end, the audience and the studios benefit because why? They're in the business of making money. I'm surprised that they're not paying attention to that. They're not. What do you think,
me.
Lou?
Oh,
Yeah, you.
because you pointed the
Well,
camera. No, I agree with you. I think some of the fan made stuff is way better than I love the Axonar. I thought that was great. And you know what's crazy? The crowdfunding. You'd be surprised how they got this to do it. I
Mhm.
mean, it's the crowdfunding, the Indiegogos and the all that good
yeah,
stuff. And it's amazing how people put into this because they want to see something worth the money, And I never thought that would happen. Never when crowdfunding first started or anything. Never.
yeah. At first, it was like anything that's new. People are taking advantage of it. You hear the sad stories,
Mhm.
and people
Yeah.
just want to get money off of people. But then people who want to bring uh, fan their fan favorite show or characters to life, and it's like, okay, we got the kind of the tech, but we don't have the money for like places and what do you call it, permits to go to certain spots to do.
Mhm.
Crowdfunding comes in. Same again, like the aforementioned Axonar. When it first started, it was only looking for 100 grand from crowdfunding. They had like a 30-second little video, which looked great. But then all of a sudden, George Takei lent his voice in and said, "Hey, this is a great show. Why don't you, why don't you, give it the green light? Give 10, $20, whatever." That went from 100,000 and jumped in like at least almost a week to
Did,
600,000.
didn't also didn't also not George Takei, Chekhov, the guy that played Chekhov, wasn't he?
Walter Cohen, yeah.
Yeah, he was in it too.
Yeah, well, not in it, but he was as lending his voice to it because they
Yes.
weren't in the move in that movie itself. They were in this other one. I think it's a version of God and Monsters, and that was also crowdfunded. But it featured so many stars from across the Star Trek universe. It was not funny.
Mm.
Walter Cohen, George Takei, Nichelle Nichols, God rest her soul. I can't, and I remember one of them. I can't remember him by name. He was in Star Trek Generations, where he was the captain of the Enterprise B, excuse me. And I always remember him because I called him Captain Tuesday because everything that happened when they were on that little maiden voyage is that, wait, no, let me guess, Tuesday. You ain't getting full-time torpedoes not till Tuesday. You don't have this. Why?
Yeah.
That's coming in Tuesday. So I call him Captain Tuesday because that's how I seen him.
Okay.
But in light of that, what you said, it's true because a lot of them are getting some good some funding from people, and it's getting better. It's getting a lot better, And I honestly believe if I was a studio and I had the kind of funding necessary,
Man.
I would pluck one of those things and give it the funding it needed to put on the screen.
Mhm.
I would, because quite frankly, you get the rights to it and put it up on the screen, people are gonna come. People are gonna pay for that because that's what we want.
People are willing to watch a word for like a screenshot for screenshot adaptation of a book that they like or a video game or an
Yes.
anime, and people underestimate like the willpower of fans to just perfect adaptation, even if they don't change anything.
That is true. Prime example is and I always come back to this when it comes to panel per panel. Charles, we were talking about it off air.
Batman.
No, the bald-headed kid. Avatar.
Oh,
Oh.
Avatar. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that one with M Night Shyamalan.
No.
Again, we need to pay him a visit.
Oh.
No, we need to pay him a visit.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe you spent that kind of money and you give me caca. You with me? We go him. You run his feet over. I take his head off.
I haven't seen the show yet, and I've heard
Netflix?
good things, but
Oh my
no, I haven't seen it yet.
You
But
ever
I'm
seen the
such
live
a
action?
huge fan of Avatar. I have an Airbender
That's your
tattoo.
homework.
I am a
That's gonna be your
huge
homework.
Airbender fan, so like I'm worried and nervous, even though I've heard good things. So
Heard. Me and him did a show on it. We sat down. Let me tell you, word for word. And the thing was, as we were discussing about it, was the difference between live action and anime. Where the anime, the artist, drew the expressions,
yeah,
but there's only so much the artist can render and bring out.
yeah.
Where the live action, the kid,
All right.
he brought the essence of Aang, his innocence, his hopes or whatever.
The whole
I was
cast.
like,
The whole cast.
the whole cast, yeah. Oh my God, the whole
Producer.
cast. Hmm.
The producer guy,
But-
can you bring up that question again?
What's
Somebody
that
put a
question?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
If you had the funding, which movie? If you had the funding, which movie,
Which
game,
movies
anime
or anime
will you
would do?
redo?
I talked about this with you last week.
You talked about it last week.
I would do Guyver, Bio Booster Armor Guyver.
Guyver, as
Yeah, it's an anime.
It's an older
Yeah.
anime. It's one of the last hand-drawn animes of like the 80s and 90s, and it is one of my favorite properties. I've written scripts on it multiple times and through the years. And I remember when we was talking about it, when I saw Blue Beetle, I was like, there's no reason why we cannot do Guyver now. And a good adaptation, because the only live action adaptation that's good is the second one, Dark Hero. And it was done by Sci-Fi, if I remember correctly, the Sci-Fi company. They did 1 and then 2. The first one was really bad, but it did have Mark Hamill in it. And
They had Mark Hamill in it. And he turned into a cricket.
it was like a cockroach kid. But
Oh,
yeah.
excuse me, cockroach. So adventures.
He wasn't
I told
using the voice.
And no, he
No,
wasn't.
he was not.
But the second one was a good adaptation because they stuck to the anime storyline, even though it was made in an American setting with the main character being American. But I think like if if I could do one, it would definitely like Guyver's on the top of my list.
And I tell you, and she'll agree, if you were to take that '94 film, and it had special effects, great special effects,
To this
and
day, still holds.
you put that back out into theaters,
See when he jumps
bank,
off the cliff.
money will be coming to this film because it didn't make it to theaters. It made it to home video. That's how I found it. To me, it was like this is better than ever. And if you put this in theaters, I will see. I will tell you this much: I could see a resurgence of the character, a resurgence of the storyline, put back in film because if they can do
And the themes that people would definitely like
yeah.
resonate with nowadays, because it's essentially it's an alien storyline. It's about aliens who had come to Earth and were messing around with our genetics, and they created these creatures called the Zoinoids. And these are humans who could turn into giant monsters and can wreak havoc. They couldn't really control them after a while, so then they created the Guyver unit, which was supposed to be like their version of like a RoboCop. But then they learned they couldn't control that either, which Guyver literally translates to out of control. So then they left Earth and just left their creations to roam free, and it goes deep into the lore of like human origins, like right and wrong, what's real, what's not. Like it's such a great anime, and it's a great manga as well. So yeah, I think and people really like alien storylines. They like it could be somewhere between the line of like a sci-fi horror. I think it could really be taken in this generation and really appreciated for what it is.
a lot better.
I
What
know
did you have in mind?
I know the premise of it, but I never heard it. So
Oh, you have to watch it, bro. You have to.
to watch it. I always tell everybody because I'm a huge anime fan. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, the new age animes do this. I would love to see Attack on Titan be made. I'd love to see Demon Slayer and all this. Yeah, dope. But old school animes, like I would like to see Macross being made into a live action, Gundam Wing being made into a live action. There's so much good." Older animes that can I think that if we're tapped into and brought back.
One of the best is Akira.
Yes, Akira would be a phenomenal live action.
Oh my God! Who did you see even play the title character, the kid on the motorcycle?
Who would play the main one? Who would you cast?
Who would you cast for something like that? I mean, you got great actors now that could fit the bill, but who would you choose?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I have to think about that for a minute.
Think on that one. I mean, if I had to bring one, would it be an anime? A better version, and especially with martial arts, Fist of the North Star.
How about
like I said, going with the old ones, Fist, because they did it once and it was so disgustingly stupid.
I know who to get for Akira.
Who?
The vampire that turned into Batman.
The vampire that turned into a Batman.
Yeah. You know that actor, what's his name? The stupid vampire.
Robert Pattinson.
There you go.
No.
I'm gonna say this once because this is the first time this is happening.
He's a great actor.
I'm gonna say no.
Off today. I'm off today.
No, not you're off today. I really didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I'm off today.
I really didn't see that. Because I was thinking, Justice League God and Monsters, where there is a vampire Batman. But when you said actor, I was like, I was lost.
I have a put in for one. Tom Holland probably would be one of my
Tom Holland.
choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he could bring his A game. I know that, and I'd like to see him play a role that's different from what he's normally playing.
Yes.
And see him tap into a more darker side of himself. And I think Akira would give him a really good honeypot to play with.
Ouch. Honeypot. Put that over me. Just chop that shit down. Shite. I know. I said it. I admit it. I said it.
Yeah. The eyebrow is up.
But yeah. So.
Next subject.
Yeah, next subject. The 3 Batman films that you have mentioned before.
Oh, yes.
Please do tell.
I heard there's one got canceled, which is the Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson's The Batman, because I was seeing reports on it, and I had seen that they were going to include the Joker, or at least the actor who showed up at the end as the Joker. He was going to be the next protagonist against Batman. So I was waiting for that, and they were going to show more Penguin, And like I said, I love me some Penguin because after watching the series by itself, and the fact that he transformed. I mean, I'll say this again because I am that baffled that when I first saw the Batman, I did not know that the guy in that suit
Me
was
neither.
Colin Farrell.
Me
I
neither.
just, it's like, who was that? And then I saw when they did the makeup and they put it on. I'm like, I just stood there dumbfounded, like, huh?
Yeah.
That's not him, but it is. It
Yeah.
is. And then when I watched the show, I'm like, whoa, that show. I mean, if season two comes, I'm gonna be glued to it because this character is good.
Yeah.
This is really good.
He did a
I
good job.
mean,
He did a
oh, he
good,
did a
a very good job.
fantastic job. Oh my god! But yeah, but what's the other one? I know there was one that they were talking about where there was talks
No, I saw the
being
suit.
thrown out there,
Did you see the suit?
huh?
Did you see
Uh,
the suit for the Batman from James Gunn?
oh, James Gunn to do Batman now.
Yeah. Did you see the
I see the suit, but it doesn't have a cape. I'm like, it's like a one piece.
and it's got
Like it's
guns
like a Batman onesie.
and it's got guns.
And yes, which is
What?
like, what the hell?
Yeah,
It's
that's what
like,
they.
oh, well, Batman. It's either an alternate reality or a Flashpoint storyline where it's Thomas Wayne, which I would believe because he used guns,
Yeah,
not Bruce Wayne. So
exactly.
that's why I would see that going if that's the case, Thomas Wayne.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thomas Wayne makes sense with the guns.
yeah. They would have
But
to blend that.
here's the funny thing. It's like it's like I'm gonna say this
And then
once, and I apologize. DC, excuse me, Warner Brothers, get your head out of your culo, okay? Because DC Studios or DC itself created the best story plot line where you can bank money on it. The Crisis, the Infinite Earths, that's all you're doing. Marvel's doing a better job at that than you are. And that's
only
sad to say because you guys created that plot line. You
yeah,
should
but
be taking advantage of it.
only in the M's in the cinematic universes, because the myth is, and I really go with this. Comic book wise and story wise for DC, they have the better characters. Marvel had the better storylines.
I
Hmm.
can see that.
I
Yeah,
can say I can say yeah, I can agree with that because again, but like we said the last week, they may have better characters, but they're washing, rinsing, and repeating
Hmm.
the same
you know why?
Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman.
I
But I
don't
know
think they
why.
feel
Hello,
confident.
I know why. They need to
shoot
let
me.
they need to let Disney buy them.
Um, I
Go ahead,
don't
Sam.
know
What
I
happened?
feel a type of way about that because I don't want Disney to have a monopoly on all of these
exactly.
properties. But I feel that there's,
Netflix should buy them. Netflix should buy
mm,
DC.
but
Nef-
Netflix couldn't afford it. I think Amazon would probably be better.
okay.
Amazon might, just because I don't know when it comes like to the storytelling as well. I think DC translates more better to like longer format
Hmm.
storytelling than it does
Yes,
to the movies
and
because when
also,
they do their movies they cut out so much and they don't stick to their guns when it comes to their storytelling, and I
Hmm.
think that they're not as confident in their stories, but when their shows have always been successful,
but I,
have
I
always
And their
been very
anime, and
successful,
their
and one of
and
anime,
the animators
animes are fantastic.
phenomenal. I
and
always prefer the animated movies over the
one of the best things about Amazon is that their turnaround time is faster. Like
yeah.
Yes.
they'll give you the first season, and in less than a year they'll give you the second season.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
at the same time, with their characters, I mean, yes, they're washing, rinsing, and repeating. This is true because those characters are better, and you can write them so many different ways. I mean, that's why there's that controversy that keep. It's like I think it's building because as closer that we get to July when Superman comes out, more and more stuff I'm seeing about Cavill, all the behind the scenes footage, or like when they sat down with the actress Amy was looking at, and then all of a sudden they turn their head as they're talking, and here comes Cavill in the suit, and it's like, holy, they're like, wow, he's Superman. And then you hear Cavill explain how he embodies it and he wants to represent it in its in his not his holiest form, in his whole wholesome form of who he is. He's here to help. Remember how I told you in the comic books one time he had was it Clark Kent explained it that Superman is what I can do. Clark Kent is who I am, and that's the story itself. I think that the show that best shows this is definitely Superman and Lois because it's the one show where it tackles him as a husband and a father.
Yes.
I mean, yes, he's a superhero and he demonstrates that, but there are many scenes where as a dad, I'm like, whoa, he handles himself, and it's like, wow.
Somebody commented to our previous thing about Disney. They said no. Then Disney will change Wonder Woman to Wonder Man. Also make the rest of the part of the so-called
Oh,
woke.
I'm not a fan of that term.
But it's even though it is a term, but we've seen studios thinking that they're targeting, more women, more LGBTQ. I'm like, you're not targeting anybody because you don't have the statistics that actually prove that majority is outshining. They're just as much fans like we are. They're people, but they're just as much fans as I are. So I would say when you look at that box box's numbers, you're looking at everybody. It doesn't make a difference,
They're not
woke or
really,
otherwise.
and then most of the time they're not even aiming for fans. They're aiming for general audience when they do these movies. They could give two.
Yeah, they could
Sorry.
give two shites.
Yeah, about us.
Two shites.
I saw myself.
Two shites. And she called herself.
They don't care about us. They care about general audience. It's why like every time there's a new Batman, it's oversaturated to the point where like I'm tired of this storyline. I've seen it so many times to the point where I'm just like, stop it.
Number one, always, no matter what, Michael Keaton. Number two, who was on? Oh, Christian Bale, but God rest his soul, he did all right. Number three, I don't even want to mention his name. I was surprised that it was he.
You're talking about Val Kilmer, may he rest in peace.
Yeah, Val Kilmer, excuse me. Christian Bale is probably like maybe the third best or second best in doing the character because his version was more modern. His more of a modern take, when you look at it, especially of course, and I don't even have to say his name, Joker, Heath Ledger. Best villain entrance, best villain period. I mean, this man went to the beginning of DC Comics, Detective Comics, when the character first came out. I mean, he did brilliant research on that guy, and then he caught, and then he took the voice, or I can say mimicked the voice of the stand-up comic, and then that was the Joker. I mean, he did his own makeup, and I'm like, brilliant. I mean, for Nicholson, I would say he would be the next second. He would be the second, and I'm not going to talk about the third one. No. I mean, he can get something. He can get one of these, the one in the middle, because he messed it up. He keeps playing characters that he keeps messing up. From what, Morbius, Joker.
What are you talking about now?
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I mean, he's talented in other films, but in the superhero genre, he's 0-2.
I don't ever blame the actor. I don't.
Sometimes you gotta though, depending on the role and the thing.
I blame the casting director,
Mm-hmm.
the person that actually says, "Hey, maybe he could play him," or I also blame the writers.
True. They have a hand.
Directors also have a big hand too, because directors are the ones who are directly telling them, like, "Hey, in this scene, do this," or "Hey, in this scene, play it this way," because they have a lot of play in that as well.
Mm-hmm. They do, but ultimately, the actor has to portray it and put it out there. So, it could be up to him to try and change something just to see how it works. In the end, we already saw the face in Jared. No. But the only thing I liked about it was your hand. That's it. Yeah. That's the only thing I liked about that scene. Yeah.
I cosplayed that Joker for Halloween once because I had no other option. But
really?
Yeah.
So that's how I felt about that one. Again, if you look online.
Who would you get as a Joker?
Oh, there's so many. I would love to see David Tennant playing a Joker. David Tennant, he plays the 10th Doctor. He was also Purple Man in Jessica Jones. He would be a phenomenal Joker.
He need to bulk up.
Oh,
He
no,
need to
he
bulk
can
up.
stay skinny as well. Sorry.
You can say he's skinny,
He can stay. He's not that skinny though.
but he ain't that big either. Remember,
But he could. I would love to see him play a Joker.
brace yourself, woman. So the two that I mentioned before off break, as far as the two that I can see playing them, especially I've seen their alter characters that could fit the Batman part. One is Alan Richardson, because as Reacher, the guy
Mhm.
is like a great investigator. He sees things, and as Batman is the greatest detective, he would fit the part.
Did you watch the latest series? I gotta watch it.
Which one? I mean, season 3.
The Reacher.
I have.
Oh my God, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I gotta sit down and watch it.
I just started Reacher.
Oh, I envy.
That's
you.
homework for you, bro. That's homework.
Yeah.
Sacatillao. En casa, that's your homework for tonight, bro. You have to see. Oh, season 3 especially. I mean, he was all right sized. Then he bulked up more, and he got to like about 240 pounds for the last one because his nemesis bigger than him, and that's saying a lot because he's 6'3", and he's 240. He's a beast.
I
But the
still
dude he
think-
was facing,
I still say they should have gotten him for Ben Grimm.
There's a thought. Now, my second choice, and I'm gonna say it again. Brace yourself, woman. Okay, her favorite, Jensen Ackles from
I love him for
Supernatural.
everything and anything. He's just a great actor.
I mean, I could see him pulling that off
You know-
because when it requires that certain part of Batman that he has to get vicious and he has to sometimes do like you got to do bad things to get the bad people. That's him. That would be him. I mean, if you want brutality, then Alan Richardson because he can fight, he can figure it out. But when he fights, my money's on him.
He's been like a fan favorite too. I think also another person who'd be good as a Joker would be oh
I
my
mean,
God.
Batman.
Oh, Batman. Sorry. I'm trying to think.
No, I said
No,
Joker.
yeah,
Oh, you
you
said
said
Joker?
Joker. You went to Batman. I think another one would be Carl Urban. He plays everything to perfection.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see him doing that. For some reason, I could see him because.
Because you said
and-
Jensen, and I thought of The Boys, and I immediately pictured it in my head.
But he could also play a Batman because he already
Yes.
did Dread,
Yes.
and he did an
Anything.
excellent Dread. So it's like, you got 3 there, bro. It's like 3. Listen to us.
You know, they want to really, really listen to us, and I'm gonna leave you with this story.
Use me as a casting director.
Okay.
They need to bring, if they want to do a very successful, either series or movie,
Mm-hmm.
Batman versus Predator.
Well, that was done as a fan film.
That was done as a fan film, right?
It's an old fan
Yeah,
film.
It's called
I know.
Batman Dead End.
Yes, I know. I seen it. But
That was good.
Imagine that as a live action film. I mean, with better special effects.
Shut up.
I mean, I would.
Shut up. What? Shut the front door.
I could see it, but at the same time, I think the franchises wouldn't.
Well, let me put it this way. It was a comic book that brought Aliens versus Predator together.
Mhm.
Especially since Predator 2 featured the skeleton.
Yeah. Somebody wrote. Somebody
Pass.
wrote. They need a real fan to help them cast correctly.
Hire me as a
Amen.
casting director.
Amen. Amen. It's like I said, fans know the genre. We know it inside and out.
And I've always said this too. William Dafoe.
William Dafoe.
Oh.
He would make a great older Joker. Yeah,
Yes.
I think he would make a great killing Joker.
Yes. From
If
the
they did
Killing
it
Joke?
live action, he would be a phenomenal killing joke one.
Hell yeah. I mean, his work as the Goblin screamed more Joker than it did Goblin,
Mhm.
to tell you the truth. So I'm like, ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Our
He would be perfect.
Our producer said, "Let's wrap things up." So,
Okay.
with this thought, I am Crazy Leg on a wheelchair, Lou.
I am excited as a live wire Mo.
And I'm Sam.
Thank you again for joining us for North Ricans. Catch you again Live long and prosper.
May the force be with you.
May the fart